one or two of my classes, my new media design class and possibly my public relations class.
What do you...
Currently, none of my teachers are teaching me about social media, and as a marketing major, I feel that it's a big mistake because using social media could really affect the marketplace and how you promote your items.
My new media design class, every single week, we're mandated to have a blog, so every week I have to blog about news or any blog responses that deal with design and art. And also we have to tweet, we have to have a Twitter account for the class, so every single week I'm using Twitter and Tumblr for that class.
Actually, the only class I'm allowed to use my computer in is in computer science this semester. Last semester, I was able to use my computer in about 2 classes. 2 out of 5.
Did it affect how you paid attention?
It did affect the way I paid attention. I would browse the internet more often and would zone out most of the time. Well, I was taking French short stories and I actually did better than I did in a classroom.
I mean, there was a lot of stuff that I didn't really need to know that was cut out. And I mean, I felt it was good. I felt I learned just as much. At least the important stuff that I needed to know. The other little stuff I could develop along the way.
3 out of my 4 professors utilize Blackboard.
Only some of them. I mean, each semester it varies, but I mean, all of them. I mean, each one that says that they're gonna put a bunch of stuff on there, or there's gonna be a lot of work or done through Blackboard, it's usually just, you know, kind of like a lie, and they try to use it, but it never really works out.
If I didn't have time to read the book, or I just wasn't interested and just didn't read the book, I would definitely use SparkNotes instead of reading it.
I have used it in the past and it's very helpful.
I prefer reading the actual book because then I have first-hand knowledge of it.
It was an easy way out. I wouldn't say it's the right thing to do or reliable, but sometimes when you're in a time crunch, it's my only option. I don't use Wikipedia for class.
Why not?
Well, you know, a lot of professors don't want us to, and we do have to submit a bibliography, and you never know, you can't really rely on Wikipedia because you don't know who's submitting the information. So I don't use it because I know the information is not always 100% true, and also just the fact that I can't use that for my research because of the professor.
Every single time. But I usually use other sources that I can check to that, because I find that Wikipedia usually has a lot more in-depth and coverage, and you know, so it'll have some things that other places won't. So, you know, I feel that it's gotten more credible over the years, but I usually check the facts a little bit. I like to have, you know, a bunch of sources so that I can put everything together.
Well, I go to night school and I usually don't go into the library because it's closed, so I get to do all my research at home. So it's benefiting me by easier going online and finding all my research on the computer at home.
To conduct my research at Hofstra, I usually use the library databases, Academic Search Premier, and LexisNexis. I look up a lot of journal articles, newspaper articles for my primary research.
Social media I guess has had a huge impact on me, mainly being I'm always online, always on Facebook, and that cuts down on a lot of my time to study or write papers. And I find myself, even while I'm studying, I'll have my laptop open and it will be on Facebook.
Social media has definitely opened my eyes to a lot of new ways that you can get information that people never had access to until the past decade. I definitely would use Twitter now to find, maybe a newspaper article about something by just searching a term and, reading through some tweets that link to some good news sources. I definitely think there's some blogs that you could use for research that are legitimate, and also, the normal websites that you find off of Google. Another thing with Twitter too is you can interact with these other people to get information. You could tweet like, oh, I'm doing a project on this, can you point me out to a website that would explain that, or an article that you read? And I've actually done that for my internship. I've used Twitter to reach out to my followers to get information. Another great thing too about the internet is there are a lot of online communities where people can gather and share their thoughts and opinions about different topics and their expertise. And I definitely feel like those could be legitimate too, or at least point you in the direction of other information. But that's the whole beautiful thing about social media, is the interaction that you can have with anyone across the world on any type of information. There's no limits or boundaries like going to a library and looking through their books. There's only so many books about so many different things in a library, but by utilizing social media you can reach out to anyone and talk about anything, and I think that's a really cool thing.